Hello, who's your fans, who's your haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to be kicking off week 6 with talking about the power rankings for all of the Big Ten. Now, Big Ten Media Day for basketball is going on right now, at least for women's basketball. Men's basketball is coming soon. So I'll probably talk about a little bit of what's happened recently there next week whenever we get to that bye week. But to start out, it's the same tiers. Nothing's really changed in terms of tiers. The amount of teams in the tiers. So number 18 is now Purdue. Purdue has dropped down number 18 because of their loss against Nebraska, 28 to 10. Well, Purdue's probably no, Purdue stayed at to 18. I forgot. It's Purdue staying at 18. Offense is 15th in the conference, 322 yards, and defense is 18th or last in the conference at 398.8 yards. They were able to block two kicks, which pretty good. But I think that it's more to tell with Nebraska's special teams not being great. But firing the offensive coordinator is not really that good. Maybe Walt Bell can be the new offensive coordinator for Purdue. They'll like him. But this week they're playing at Wisconsin, which is going to be another tough matchup for them. But it was like I don't think they scored at all in the first half. It was like if Nebraska would have lost that game, oh, that would have been something. And 17 is UCLA. 1-3 and 0-2 in the conference, and Purdue's a 1-3 and 0-1 in the conference. UCLA is the 18th ranked offense at 262 total yards, and the 17th ranked defense at 398.2 yards. The previous week they lost against number 8 Oregon 13 to 34, and this week they're going to number 7 Penn State. Uh I put it on the notes, but the blowouts are going to continue until Brown improves. I'm sorry, UCLA. It's just not your year. This schedule's rough. Like, there's nothing much else to say. It's just rough. There's nothing much you can do. Hopefully, their offense can get on track after next week. Number 16, at 3-2 and 0-2 in the conference is Maryland, who is down two spots from last week. They lost at Indiana 28 to 42. They have the seventh best offense at 451.4 yards, but the 16th worst defense at 381 yards. And the reason why I have him at 16 is because of injuries. If Ty Felton's injury is long term, they're screwed. They're screwed. It just is what it is. And that O line's got to protect Billy Edwards Jr. a lot better than what they did last week. It was just in the backfield every single passing down. It felt like there was like either Mikal Kamara, whether it was Aiden Fisher, whether it was um, Jalen Walker, whether it was Andre Carter. Is not Andre Carter. Why is there Andre Carter? Liddell Carr. He's Andre Carter is graduated already. Yeah, I just felt like that off defensive line is just attacking. And number 15 is Minnesota. 2-3, 0-2 in conference play. And the reason why, and offense is 14th in the conference, 327.2, and defense is 226.8 yards, which is third. They lost at Michigan, the 12th ranked team in the country, 24 to 27. And reason why I have Maryland up a spot is they should have had an opportunity. Should have had an opportunity to win that game. They had the onside kick and was screwed over by the offsides penalty. They should have had an opportunity to win that game. Could they have won it? I don't know, but should have had a chance there. This week they're hosting number 11 USC, which uh that's just a pain. More ranked teams for them. Yeah, it's hasn't been a great year for Minnesota, but they had a very impressive game against Michigan. Number 14, I have Northwestern, who's 2-2 and 0-1 in conference play. They're up one from where they were last week because of Maryland dropping. The 17th best offense at 294.5 yards and the 10th best defense at 302.3 yards. They had a bye in the previous week, and this week they're going to be hosting Indiana. But it obviously this is not a great offense. The team is going to be thriving on that defensive line. So it's going to be a matter of who wins the trenches in that game, and I'll go into more of that later. But it's not going to be fun. It just is. So those are the usual suspects in the not bowl contenders. If Maryland can get a win soon, they could move up to bowl contending status, so they can get to 2-2 in conference play. But I don't know. And as we get into bowl contenders, if any of these teams get to 6 wins, or if any team gets to 6 wins, any of the 18 through 14, if they get to 6 wins, they'll instantly be in bowl favorites. And so any team in bowl contenders because they've already made a bowl game, and we're getting close to teams making bowl games. At number 13, staying put is Michigan State, the 11th best offense and the ninth best defense, 369.8 yards of offense and 300.4 yards of defense, respectively. They lost against number 3 Ohio State, 7-38. And this week they're going at number 6 Oregon. But it's just they have a tough couple of weeks. That's what I've noticed that a lot of these teams have a tough couple of weeks. Once they get out of this, they have a chance. They still have a chance to make a bowl game. They just got to we just got to see how they recover from these two games. At number 12 is Wisconsin, who is now 2-2 and 0-1 in conference play. Recently, this week they went to Pasadena, not Pasadena, but they went to the LA Coliseum and they lost to USC, which doesn't seem as bad, but when you're just looking into it, it's a lot worse than what it probably should be. The 13th best offense with 337.2 yards and the 14th best defense at 343.5 yards. They lost at USC 21-38, and this week they're going to Purdue. They're going to be hosting Purdue. They had a chance to win this game. They were leading at half. They had a chance to win this game, and they just gave it away. A lot of turnovers, muffed punts. It's just can't have that. I know they're missing their starting quarterback, but you have an opportunity there to win, and you got to take it. Number 11, because they lost this week, is Washington, 3-2, and then 1-1 in conference play. Down from 10th, they have the fourth best offense at 469.4 yards and the fifth best defense at 249.8 yards. They lost at Rutgers 18-21, and this week they're hosting number 10 Michigan. But you can't miss 3 kicks. You can't miss 3 kicks and expect to win a game, especially in the Big Ten. You could maybe do it in the Pac-12, but you can't do that in the Big Ten. But the amount of travel that they have is absolutely crazy. I don't think they have like a back-to-back home game the rest of the season. They go from Seattle to a road game, then back to Seattle, then a road game. They have a bye, and then a road game. Seattle, like it's just, and they're going all the way across the country. They're not gonna. I don't know if they're gonna finish great because of the schedule. How many miles that they're how many miles that they're going. Well, they're racking up the points on the travel miles. At number 10 is Rutgers, who is now 4-0 and 1-0 in conference play, up one from where they were last week. Eighth best offense at 428 yards, but the 15th best defense at 352.2 yards. They beat Washington 21-18, and next week is against Nebraska. And Washington is facing number 10 Michigan next week. Rutgers probably should not have won this game. You can't miss they should have lost this game probably. 3 kicks. If he makes two of them, they lose. Flat out. But we're gonna see how they do against Rutgers. They've had a pretty easy schedule so far. They're gonna continue having a pretty easy schedule. So let's see how they do. Nebraska. Speaking of Nebraska, they're down. Well, they aren't down. They're still at number 9, 4-1, and then 1-1 in conference play. the ninth best offense at 405.4 yards, and the eighth best defense at 274.2 yards. They beat Purdue 28 to 10. And this week they're going to Rutgers. Special teams needs a lot of work, definitely. Two blocked kicks. That holder's got to do a better job. But they got a good game against Rutgers coming up, and we're gonna see how that is. Now heading into bowl favorites, this is the one that has like there wasn't a lot of changes from last week, but this is one of the changes. At number 8 is number 24 Illinois, 4-1, and then 1-1 in conference play. They went down from 7 from last week. The 12th best offense at 347.2 yards, and the 12th best defense at 308.6 yards. They lost at number 9 Penn State, and well, this week they're lucky they have a bye. Just it just is what it is. They're going to Penn State in a whiteout feeling game. I don't hold this loss too much against them, but they did lose, and they lost by 2 scores. The offense did not look great at all. They have a week to prepare for their next game, so they're lucky there. At number 7 is number 23 Indiana. Indiana's finally ranked. Let's go. Indiana's finally ranked. They're 5-0, 2-0 in conference play. They're going up from 8, and the previous week they beat Maryland 42 to 28. They have the second best offense at 513 yards and the fourth best defense at 239.6 yards. This week they're going at Northwestern, which is going to be a fun game, I think. It's going to be any game is going to be difficult because it's the Big Ten. Um, Gotta calm down on the turnovers. But it's the first game with a turnover and it's 4, so I'm not too upset, but I'm happy with with overcoming the adversity. What sucks is that Donovan McCulley is transferring. I completely understand it. I'm not holding it against him. Hopefully it's not in the Big Ten. That's the hope. Go to like Notre Dame or something, or Ball State. Go to Ball State. Ball State will be good. Go to Ball State, Donovan. Please. Please go to Ball State. Don't go to Purdue. You don't want that on you. Number 6 is number 11 USC. 3-1, 1-1 in conference play. The fifth best offense and 11th best defense. 459.8 yards of offense and 304.8 yards of defense. They beat Wisconsin 38 to 21, and next week they're going to be at Minnesota. Good statement win. First half wasn't great at all with turnovers. Similar with Indiana, really. But they're going to Minnesota. They had a good game against Michigan. Let's see how they do. Let's see how they do on the road. On the road against a Big Ten opponent that isn't as good as Michigan. Speaking of Michigan, still at number 5 is number 10 Michigan. 4-1 of offense, 4-1 to 2-0 in conference play. The 16th best offense, 327.5 yards, and the 15th best defense at 323 yards. They were able to beat Minnesota 27-24, and this week they're at Washington. And I don't know what to do with this team. Like, I don't know because should they be 4? They're the 10th ranked team in the country. They should at least be 4 in any metric. But they're 2.5 point favorite. They're 2.5 point underdogs at Washington as the 10th ranked team in the country. Honestly, that tells me as much as I need to know. Because Indiana, number 23 Indiana, is a 14-point favorite on the road, and USC is an 8-point favorite on the road. And yes, maybe Washington's a little better than what I think, but Michigan, if like, I just don't. I am concerns. I don't trust their ranking. That's mainly it. I don't trust their ranking. We'll see how they do, but if Washington get key in on the run and stop the run, Michigan might be screwed. At number 4 is Iowa still. 3-1, 1-0 conference play. They were in a bye. 10th ranked offense at 397.8 yards, and the 7th best defense at 272.8 yards. They're going at Ohio State, who's the number 13 team in the country. Good luck, my friends. They have the best team in the conference. Let's see if they can keep it a game. And now, last but not least, with the playoff contenders, at number three is Oregon, 4-0, 1-0 in conference play. Sixth best offense at 454 yards, and the sixth best defense at 266.8 yards. They beat UCLA 34 to 14. And this week they're going to be hosting Michigan State. Um, they had a good response after a possible trap game with how UCLA was playing LSU, but I feel much more confident in them than I did at the beginning of the season. I think Penn State will going to need to lose for them to go up to two, but right now that's where I have them. Speaking of Penn State, they're number two. The seventh ranked team in the country is 4-0, 1-0 in conference play. The third best offense at 496.8 yards, and the second best defense at 226.5 yards. They beat another ranked team 21 to 7 with their wideout. And this week they're hosting UCLA. A possible trap game because of UCLA. Well, UCLA has played LSU, but I think they'll take care of business pretty easily. And the number one is still number one because they haven't lost yet is Ohio State. 4-0, 1-0 conference play. Best offense at 534.8 yards. The best defense at 196.5 yards. They beat Michigan State 38 to 7. And this week they're hosting Iowa. They're going to be the best until someone finds a way to beat them. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen until maybe the college football playoff, if. And it just is what it is. This is going to be a fun week. Tomorrow I'm going to be going to be predicting how the week's going to go for the Big Ten. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share with all your friends, and ask yourself, what do I have terribly wrong with this list? Is there anything I should change?